Second lesson in our Pythagorean theorem unit, we're going to be talking about solving for a leg today, so this is a little bit more of a complicated process. So first thing is to recall the formula for the Pythagorean theorem. That's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You were probably saying it in your sleep already. Which sides are the legs? That's going to be a and b. And which side's the hypotenuse or the hippo? That's c. Remember, the hippo is the biggest side and it's across from the right angle. I'm still going to recommend that you highlight for today. So it says find the missing side. So those are my two legs. So I call them A and B. The side across from the right angle is C. So kind of looking at these steps just to remind us, write the formula, fill in what we have. So let's start those two steps. Formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Fill in what we have. A is 8, so 8 squared. We don't know what b is, so we're going to leave it b squared. C, this time we do know it. It's 15 squared. So our next step, step 3, is to square the numbers that we have. 8 squared is 64. We still don't know what b is. And 15 squared is 225. Now you're probably looking at this and being like, wait, Mrs. Grabner, this is like an equation. It definitely is. So our job is to get the variable by itself. B squared is my variable. It's at 64 is over there. We call it the armadillo before. Get rid of it and do it on both sides. And you're going to get b squared is going to be equal to 161. So to get b by itself, you now have to take the square root. This is like what we did yesterday, right? So if I do the square root of 161, I get 12.68, so we'll call that 12.7. So b is equal to 12.7 on my picture. Now check if your answer is reasonable. 8, 12.7, 15. This should be the biggest, so that is reasonable. Down here, example 2, we're missing b again. So we're going to say a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A is 12 squared. B we don't know, and 13 is c. 13 is c, so 13 squared. 144 plus b squared equals 169. We got to get b squared alone, so take care of this 144. B squared is going to be equal to 25. We don't want b squared, we have to take the square root. So b is equal to 5. Take a look at example 3, my right angle. Here are my legs. So let's go ahead and call this side A, B, across from the right angle is C. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Notice I'm going to change this one up. I'm leaving a here. B is going to be 7 squared and c is 12 squared. Square stuff. So 144. So we need to get a squared on its own. So we have this plus 49. So let's ditch that. So if we do that, we get a squared is going to be equal to 95. And we want to take the square root of 95. So square root, a is going to be equal to 9.7 in this particular problem then. Makes sense, 7, 9.7, 12 is still the biggest side. Here's 2 word problems for this one. One leg of a right triangle measures 15 inches long. Don't see a right triangle, we should probably draw one. One of the legs 15 inches. The hypotenuse measures 25. Hippo's across. Remember, these 2 are the legs here. What's the length of the other leg to the nearest 10th? So let's just call this A, B, C. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now I'll hold the front door here. Could I have called this B and this side A? Most definitely. Doesn't matter, you're still going to get the same answer. Just remember the legs have to be either A or B, one of the 2. C can only be the hippo. So if I do A is 15 squared, B squared equals 25 squared. So this is 225 plus B squared equals 625. Need to get B squared alone, so I'm going to take care of this 225. So I'm going to subtract it. So B squared equals 400. Take the square root. B is going to be equal to 20 inches. Don't forget the label here. 15, 20, 25, makes sense, checks out. This is a fun one. Bottom of a 12-foot ladder. Hold the front door. The ladder is a 12-foot ladder, so this is 12 feet long here. It's 4 feet from the side of the house. So there's the side of the house, 4 feet. That would be your right angle. Find the height of the top of the ladder above the ground to the nearest tenth. So we're looking A, B, C. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared plus 4 squared equals 12 squared. A squared plus 16 equals 144. Subtract 16. A squared equals 128. Square root 11.3 feet.